did a video earlier talking about how Mike Johnson put this measure up to fund the government with the SAVE Act and how it ultimately failed. Well, I'm now reading that there are several House Republicans saying that Mike Johnson's future as Speaker might be in jeopardy. They are saying, depending on how the election goes, Mike Johnson may not be Speaker, maybe even before the end of the term. Now, I don't believe there's going to be any way Republicans gain control of the House or keep control of the House after the election. But they are talking about potentially vacating the Speaker's chair yet again. You might remember when they did that after ousting Kevin McCarthy, that it took them a couple of weeks to get a Speaker and ultimately settling on Mike Johnson. And it took them almost a week to get Kevin McCarthy the first time around. But as they were talking about, it depends on what happens in the election and things like that. We could have a situation, and maybe I'm just hopeful in this, that we've already seen some Republicans resign and say they weren't seeking re-election this year, and resign out the rest of their term after deadlines for when they could be replaced for the rest of this term. So depending on how the election goes, you could have some other Republicans, potentially ones that got beat that were in safe red districts, or just Republicans in general that were up for re-election and got beat, or maybe didn't run but haven't resigned. You could see some of these Republicans potentially resigning before the end of the term after the election, after it's clear that the Democrats are going to have control of Congress. And if they do that, you could have a thing where there's a fight for the speakership, and Democrats, because seats would be vacant, would have the majority, and you could give Joe Biden a majority ahead of that January 3rd date for the new Congress. Now, I know that's all speculation, and that is maybe just hoping against hope that Democrats get control back ahead of that January 3rd date. But it doesn't matter. The point is, what I'm getting at is, even if they don't have that happen and the makeup of Congress stays the same after the election on November 5th, the new Congress takes over January 3rd. By all accounts, that's looking like it's going to be a Democratic-controlled Congress. Now, if they vote out the Speaker, they may not get another Speaker. The Republicans might not be able to get anything done between Election Day and January 3rd, not that they had a chance of doing much anyway, as long as Democrats control the Senate. But there is a good chance that the Republicans could be without a Speaker of the House, and that they could be in complete disarray after the election, because they're not happy with how things are going with Mike Johnson as of right now. They're not happy about this SAVE Act being tacked to the funding bill. And like I said, I think they're going to get something worked out eventually, but they're not happy about Mike Johnson. He may be on his way out as Speaker. We'll see if they oust him before the election or after.